Most people over 60 believe poor sleep begins at night. They think the problem starts when they go to bed, when they can't fall asleep, when they wake up during the night, when they feel tired in the morning. So they blame age, or stress, or just getting older. But in many cases, the real problem starts hours earlier, at the dinner table, with foods that feel completely normal before bed. Because after 60, your body doesn't process food the same way it used to. What felt harmless years ago can quietly disrupt your sleep, increase internal stress, and leave your body working when it should be recovering. And the most dangerous part is this: you don't feel it happening. There's no clear warning, no moment where something feels wrong. You go to bed thinking everything is fine, but your body is still dealing with what you gave it. I've seen this pattern for over 25 years working with adults over 60. People who are doing their best, people who are careful with their health, and yet they wake up tired again and again, without ever connecting it to what happens before sleep. I remember one patient who told me something very simple. She said, "I sleep, but I don't feel restored." That sentence explains everything, because sleep is not just about time in bed. It's about what your body is able to do during that time, and certain foods quietly take that ability away. So tonight, I'm going to show you 5 foods that many people eat before bed without thinking, but that can quietly affect your sleep, your energy, and how your body feels the next day. And one of them is so common that many people believe it actually helps them relax. It doesn't. In fact, it may be one of the main reasons you wake up feeling heavy, foggy, and not fully yourself. Let's start with that one. The first food is one that almost no one questions. In fact, many people believe it helps them relax before bed. Bread, toast, crackers, something light with tea. It feels harmless. It feels easy on the stomach. And for many people, it has become part of a nightly routine. I don't want anything heavy. I'll just eat something small. But after 60, this is where the problem quietly begins. Because foods like bread are absorbed very quickly. They raise your blood sugar fast, and your body responds immediately. It releases insulin. And insulin doesn't just manage sugar. It also affects how your body settles for the night. Instead of gradually moving into recovery, your system becomes active. Blood sugar rises, then drops. And that drop often happens while you're asleep. That's when the body reacts. Not loudly, but enough to disturb your sleep cycle. You may not wake up fully, but your sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented, less restorative. I remember a man in his early 70s who told me, "I fall asleep easily, but I wake up feeling like I didn't rest at all." He thought it was age. But when we looked at his evenings, there was one consistent pattern. Every night, tea and bread before bed. Nothing heavy, nothing unusual, just a habit. When he removed that one thing, nothing dramatic happened overnight. But within a couple of weeks, he noticed something clear. His sleep felt deeper. His mornings felt lighter. That's how these changes work. Not instantly, but noticeably. Now here's the key point. This isn't about never eating bread. It's about timing. Because what your body can handle during the day, it doesn't always handle the same way at night. So ask yourself something simple. What do you usually reach for before bed when you think you're choosing something light? Because sometimes that light choice is exactly what's making your night heavier. And the next food is even more deceptive, because people believe it's one of the healthiest things they can eat. The second food is something many people feel good about eating, because it's considered healthy. Light, natural, easy. Fruit, an apple, a banana, maybe grapes or something sweet after dinner. It feels like a smart choice. I'm not eating junk. I'm choosing something clean. And during the day, that's often true. But at night, after 60, your body handles fruit very differently, because fruit is rich in natural sugar, and even though it's not processed, it still raises your blood sugar quickly. Now here's where the problem begins. At night, your body is preparing to slow down. Hormones are shifting. Metabolism is changing. Everything is moving toward rest and recovery. But when sugar enters your system at that moment, it sends the opposite signal. Activity instead of recovery. Stimulation instead of calm. And just like with bread, your blood sugar rises, then drops, often while you're asleep. And that drop can quietly disturb your sleep cycle. Not enough to wake you fully, but enough to prevent deep, restorative sleep. This is why some people say, "I eat healthy, but I still feel off in the morning." Because the issue is not always what you eat. It's when you eat it. I remember a woman in her late 60s who told me, "I stopped eating sweets. I only eat fruit at night." And she believed she was doing the right thing. But every morning she felt heavy and slightly foggy, When we changed just that one habit, moved fruit earlier in the day, her mornings became clearer. Not perfect, but noticeably better. And that's the pattern I see again and again. Healthy food at the wrong time can still work against your body, especially after 60. So if fruit is part of your evening routine, ask yourself this: am I helping my body recover or quietly keeping it active when it should be resting? Because the next food goes even further. It doesn't just affect your sugar, it directly interferes with your sleep. The third food is one many people rely on in the evening, not because they're hungry, but because they want to relax. Cheese, a small piece after dinner, with tea, sometimes with crackers, sometimes on its own. It feels calm. It feels satisfying. And for many people, it has become a quiet nightly ritual. But after 60, this is where things become more complicated. Because cheese contains a compound called tyramine, and tyramine affects the brain. It can increase alertness, not dramatically, not in a way you immediately notice, but enough to interfere with how your body transitions into sleep. At the same time, cheese is dense, high in fat, slow to digest, which means your body continues working longer into the night. Instead of fully shifting into recovery, it stays partially active, and that creates a subtle conflict. Your brain is trying to rest. Your body is still processing, and the result is often the same pattern people describe. I fall asleep, but I don't stay deeply asleep. Lighter sleep, more turning, less recovery. I remember a patient in his early 70s who told me, "I don't eat much at night, just a little cheese. It helps me feel settled." But his sleep was inconsistent, not terrible, just never fully restorative. When we removed that habit, again, nothing dramatic happened overnight. But within a couple of weeks, he said something very simple. "I don't wake up as often anymore." That's how these changes show up. Quiet improvements, less interruption, better recovery. Now, this doesn't mean cheese is bad. It means timing matters. Because what feels calming in the moment can quietly interfere with the deeper processes your body needs during sleep. So if cheese is part of your evening routine, it may be worth asking, is this helping me relax or quietly keeping my system more active than I realize? And the next one is even more surprising, because people don't think of it as food at all, but it may be the one that disrupts sleep the most. The fourth one doesn't feel like food at all. That's exactly why most people never question it. Tea, a warm cup before bed, something calming, something familiar. For many people over 60, this is a nightly ritual. I don't drink coffee at night. I just have tea. It feels like the right choice. But here's where things become more complex. Not all tea is the same. Many common teas, black tea, green tea, even some herbal blends, still contain caffeine, sometimes less than coffee, but enough to matter. And after 60, your body becomes more sensitive to it. It takes longer to process. It stays in your system longer, and it affects sleep more than people expect. Now here's the problem. You may still fall asleep. That's what confuses people. I drink tea and sleep just fine, but falling asleep is not the same as sleeping deeply. Caffeine can reduce deep sleep. It can make your night lighter, more fragmented, less restorative. So you wake up thinking you slept, but your body didn't fully recover. I remember a woman in her late 60s who told me, "I stopped coffee years ago. I only drink tea now." But she still felt tired every morning. Not exhausted, just never fully clear. When we looked closer, she was drinking tea every night, a small habit that she never questioned. When she moved that habit earlier in the day, her mornings changed. Not instantly, but steadily. More clarity, less heaviness. That's the difference deep sleep makes. Now there's another layer. Even caffeine-free tea can be a problem if you drink too much late in the evening, because it increases the likelihood of waking up at night. More interruptions, more broken sleep, less recovery. So the issue is not just what you drink, it's when and how much. Because after 60, your body doesn't just need sleep, it needs uninterrupted sleep. And small habits like this can quietly take that away. Now the next one is the most underestimated of all, because people don't think it's a problem. They think it's a reward. The fifth food is the one people defend the most, because it doesn't feel like a mistake. It feels like something earned. A small treat after a long day, something sweet, a cookie, a piece of chocolate, maybe something just a little before bed. It feels comforting. It feels deserved. I didn't eat much today. It's just a small piece, and that's exactly why it becomes a habit. Not because of hunger, but because of routine, because the day is over, because the body is tired, because the mind wants something easy. But after 60, this is one of the most disruptive things you can do before sleep. Because sugar doesn't just affect energy, it affects your entire nighttime rhythm. When you eat something sweet, your blood sugar rises quickly. Your body responds immediately. Insulin is released. And instead of moving into a calm, stable state, your system becomes active again. Then comes the drop. And that drop often happens while you're asleep. That's when the body reacts. Stress hormones increase. The nervous system activates. Sleep becomes lighter, more fragile, more interrupted. And most people never connect it. They wake up feeling heavy, slightly anxious, not fully rested. And they think, maybe I didn't sleep well. But the cause happened hours earlier. I remember one patient who told me, I only eat one small sweet thing at night. It helps me relax. But her mornings told a different story. Low energy, heavy feeling, slow start every day. When we removed just that one habit, she said something that stayed with me. I didn't realize how much that small thing was affecting me. That's how this works. It's not about large mistakes. It's about small patterns, repeated every night. Now here's the key idea. Your body doesn't judge the size of the habit. It responds to the pattern. And when that pattern happens at the wrong time, it changes how you feel the next day. And this is where everything comes together. Now, if you step back and look at everything we've covered, something important becomes clear. This isn't about one food. It's not about bread, or fruit, or cheese, or tea, or something sweet. It's about timing, and more importantly, it's about patterns. Because none of these habits feel dangerous on their own. They feel normal. They feel small. Sometimes they even feel healthy. And that's exactly why they're repeated, night after night, until the body begins to respond. Not with a clear warning, but with something subtle. Heavier mornings, lower energy, less clarity, a feeling that you slept, but didn't fully recover. And over time, that becomes your normal. I've seen this happen with so many people over 60. They don't feel sick. They don't feel like something is wrong. They just don't feel as good as they used to. And they assume it's age. But often, it's not just age. It's what happens in the final hours before sleep. Now here's the good news. You don't need to change everything. You don't need a strict plan. You don't need to remove every habit overnight. You just need awareness. Start with one thing. Just one. The bread, the fruit, the tea, the late sweet. Pick the one that feels most familiar and change that first. Because after 60, your body responds very quickly to the right signals. Not dramatically, but noticeably. And those small improvements are what build better days. So here's a simple question. What do your evenings actually look like now? Not what you think they should look like, but what you really do before bed. Because that's where tomorrow begins. If this helped you see something differently, share it with someone who might need to hear it. A partner, a parent, a friend, someone who believes their sleep or energy is just aging. And one last thing. Everything I've shared here is general information based on patterns I've seen over many years. It's not a replacement for personal medical advice. If you have specific conditions or concerns, talk to your doctor, because small changes work best when they're done with understanding. Take care of your evenings, and your mornings will begin to take care of themselves. If this video helped you see your evenings differently, write one word in the comments, night. That simple word tells me you're paying attention now. And if one of these foods is already part of your routine, don't try to change everything at once. Pick one, just one, and start there tonight. Because after 60, better mornings are often built the night before. If this video was helpful, share it with someone over 60 who eats these foods at night without realizing how much they may be affecting sleep, energy, and recovery. And if you want more clear, practical videos designed specifically for adults over 60, subscribe and stay with us. Because on this channel, we don't chase fear. We focus on simple changes that help you feel stronger, clearer, and more in control of your body.